So this video will be all about Photoshop and how to finish an image once you get it all modeled and rendered. The last video ended in putting a Make 2D on top of the image in Illustrator, and that's a lot cleaner because in Illustrator everything's using vectors rather than rasterizing everything. Make it all pixelated like Photoshop does. But I'll still show you how to put the same Make 2D on top of this rendering here in Photoshop, just to show you the different effects you can get, because you can also fade out the lines, so that may be something that you want. So I went ahead and imported this rendering, and then I also did another rendering of all the wooden structure underneath minus the walls, so we can erase the walls to see, just get a glimpse of what's underneath. So this is what I rendered out in Rhino, and then so I'll go ahead and place that in, and let's see, it'll be on the desktop. Okay, and then put that underneath, and if you render it in the same output, that same output size, it should exactly line up. So you see here that it looks pretty good. So we can erase this top layer, but just ever so slightly, in order to just get a glimpse of what's underneath, kind of like that. See, if I erase it, it shows that rendering underneath, but we don't want that much, so we'll turn down that the opacity quite a bit, and maybe just reveal part of the triangles or something like that. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but just so you get a glimpse of what's underneath. Okay, so I will now make a new layer on top of that, and this will be for our Make 2D. And then I have it copied already over from Illustrator. Here's the Make 2D, and just Control V, import it as a smart object. I'll just place it in, and then do the same thing that we did in Illustrator, just line it up. One easy trick is to line up one edge with the furthest point. So I'm lining up the left side with the furthest edge I can, so about right there, and then go over to the right side and do the same thing, and then just move it. Oops. Okay, just move it up a bit. And I didn't render this at the highest quality, so it's not too great. And right here the Make 2D looks pretty bad just because it hasn't been placed yet. It still isn't as good of a quality as in Illustrator, but it'll be fine if you fade it out and make it pretty light. So now we will erase a little bit of it. I'll probably erase this part of the Make 2D, so the line weights are just on this right side. So get the eraser tool, and you'll have to convert the smart object into a rasterized object. So you press OK, and now you can erase it. Probably turn the size up. See this line start to go away now, and reveal just the pure rendering. So if I turn off and turn on the line weight, you can see that on the back end there. So that looks good for now. So now we'll go into adding in scale figures. So it's always good to have just a library of people but if you want to do a specific view, then you might just have to go to Google. And I usually search just like people walking PNG, which is pretty typical, so you may have to type in something specific if you want something else. But I type in PNG after it because the PNGs are all have the transparent background, and it's just the person whenever you import them. But you can also find the exact person you want and then erase the background around them, which takes a little more time, but still works well. So I'll just go to some people I know I have and add them in. So I would place this on a new layer, so you can always turn it off and on. I always work in layers because if you ever want to save the original image, it's always there and nothing gets messed up if you ever want to start over or use it in a different way. So just scale these people down. And so I kind of want them walking into the building, so they're walking the other way right now. So what I'll do is right click on them and change flip horizontal, and then that'll change the way they're walking. It'll just reflect them the other direction. So I'll go ahead and place them, and usually I try not to let my people stand out too much, so that's whenever I get into the adjustments. I'll show you some tricks that my friends showed me on just applying the adjustment to the people rather than the entire image. Because if I were to go to this vibrance setting there and kind of tone it down, it'll tone down the entire rendering. And I just want the people. So you go down here in these vibrance settings and you click on this icon. I don't know what it's called exactly. Okay, it says this adjustment affects all layers below. So directly below what layer I'm on now, it'll affect it, so it only affects the people, which is this layer, which is directly under the vibrance. So that's what I want for now. And then I'll go ahead and merge these layers. So click on the vibrance and your person and merge layers. And so that just combines it into one image. And then I would turn down the opacity a bit just so they don't stand out too much, and then create another layer. And actually what you should do first is copy them. So just click on them and press Control and drag and copy them, and then press Control T, which is transform. But you can also, I think, go to I don't even remember where it is. Yeah, there's transform in the options menu somewhere, but just press Control T and you'll get to the transform. It'll make that little box around them. So I'm going to make the shadows for these people now, kind of based on where our light's coming from. So I will distort this, and it's just by pulling on these points here, and I'll just kind of make up a shadow, what I think their shadow would look like, so it looks a little more real, and then place that right under them. Press OK, and then make sure you put that layer underneath them because their shadow is behind them. So you can see that it's an exact image of them on the ground now, so you will want to make them really dark. So I go into adjustments and then go to exposure and then turn the exposure way down, and then you see it turns everything to black. So remember, go to this icon down here and only apply it to the layer underneath. So now you have your shadow, and then I would again merge those two layers and turn down the opacity just a bit. So about like that. So that looks pretty good. And if you also want to make a shadow, make a new layer, again underneath the people, and get your brush, and get a pretty small brush with a pretty good feather, or hardness, I guess it's called in here, 0% hardness, and change it to black, and then turn the opacity down pretty far because it's pretty strong, and then you can add your own shadow in if you want it to be darker in a certain area. So that might be something that you want to but yeah, I would just continue on and just put as many people in as you want. But after all those people are in, I don't think there's anything on this layer. After everything is done, I would then add adjustments to the whole rendering. So make sure you're adding the adjustments on top of everything instead of on top of, say, the middle of your layers. So I always do brightness, contrast first every time. So just something that looks good to you, whatever your style fits, or turn down the vibrance a bit. I like to keep things pretty desaturated. So yeah, that's about it. It's the end of this tutorial series. Let me know if you want any other videos or need me to explain anything further. Just shoot me an email, or send me a direct message on Instagram. I check those pretty often. So thanks for watching, and good luck.